and welcome to your messages for the week. Today is Sunday, the 3rd of September, 2023. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Deborah Jane Sutton, and you can find out more about me and the things that I do from my website at deborahjanesutton.com or from this YouTube channel. So have a good browse around. Lots of different things on here. So, beginning of September, check out the messages for the month of September, which I did during the week. So they were all about the importance of being who you came here to be, and the importance of being who you really are. The problem is that involves knowing who you really are. And I think a lot of us so programmed, so disconnected from our own divinity, our own source of source, I want to say, that some of us don't know who we really are. And sometimes we're so busy working, trying to make ends meet and trying to survive in the matrix and the density and everything else that we don't even know what our passions are sometimes, or what we came here to do. So it is about self-realization, tapping into your inner guidance. What do you really want to do? And it is about acknowledging the programming and making sure that we release the programming and are not following anything that other people have told us we want to do, if that makes sense, because we know that all your answers come within. And of course, for the star seeds, which I'm sure you are if you're watching this, the Great Awakening has brought us an accelerated state of waking up to the power and love that we are. And that was really clear, I think, also because in the August messages, the that was about completions and upgrades. Completions, of course, being the interpretation of the world card. And the world card came up again for this month, for September. So we really have a theme of completions. It's the last major arcana card and really shows the completion of what I call spiritual lessons or lessons in awakening. So if you feel like you need some lessons in awakening, check out my series on my channel called Lessons in Awakening, because it covers quite a lot of issues that I think are really important in understanding how to raise our frequency and how to expand into higher levels of consciousness. And it is all to do with transcending that fourth dimensional emotional and mental energy body of ours and mastering our emotions and our thoughts and stuff like that, and understanding the power of beliefs, etc., etc. Anyway, check all of that out because it's all so relevant. So I think this month we're going to have more completions of those spiritual lessons, aha moments, and just acknowledging how life gets better and better and better. So what came to me when I was meditating before pressing record was that your dreams and wishes coming true lie in being who you really are, because this is so important. And I've said it before, but we often don't know what our dreams and wishes really are. We only know the limited dreams that we were told we could have. We were probably even told that we couldn't have them. And you know, we weren't really taught to wish in forms of miracles because we weren't taught to believe in miracles. You know, our wishes have probably been quite limited as well. And until you really know who you are, it's difficult to know. So, you know, and so finding out who you really are, and I mentioned this in the September messages, of course, is having a soul profile read, having your birth chart read, or looking at gene keys or human design or yoga or all sorts of different avenues and ways that we can explore who we really are. But the best way, I want to say, is just letting go. Just let go and go with the flow like a feather in the wind. And although your life might go, it will take you where you're meant to be, and it will take you to your wishes and your dreams, and whether they're ones that you're aware of or not. So yeah, definitely letting go is one way of finding out. Just letting go of all the things that are stopping you from tapping into that. I think that's what it's about, letting go of the things that are holding you back from really, going with that divine flow. There was something else I wanted to say about that. Yes, so one of the best ways of I think finding out who you really are and what you came here to do, or how you came here to express who you really are, because it is about being and not doing. But once you realize who you really are, there are things that you're going to want to do, if you see what I mean, like reading tarot, or healing, or writing a book, or, getting a podcast going, or whatever it might be. There are things that you are going to want to do when you realize who you really are, because you're going to want to express yourself, because it's about realizing who you really are and then expressing that. So there are things you're going to want to do. And so one of the best ways, I think, and in my experience, is the affirmation, the belief, I am ready and willing to allow my full potential. And you can make it clear when you're thinking it, when you're saying it, your soul's full potential. It's really important to make that distinction, rather than my programmed human's full potential. Oh, you could be head of this corporation, or you could make your £1,000,000, dollars, euros, whatever it is. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about your soul's potential. That means aligning with your fullest abundance. That is about shining your divinity through your human experience, and having the abundance of health and love and happiness and joy and financial security that comes with it. That is the abundance that we are all entitled to, the birthright that we have to this abundance. And we get it when we are who we came here to be, and when we fulfill our soul's desires. So I am ready and willing to allow my full potential. It's okay to say it without the word soul, as long as you understand when you're saying it that you're talking about your soul's full potential. If you're still wound up in those limitations of trying to seek your parents' approval or seek someone's approval outside of you, which is in a direction that your soul doesn't want to go in, which is really, really common, because one of the ways of finding out who we are, we can find out who we are by observing. We don't need to judge, but just by observing other people. And we observe the people that we resonate with. And we can go, oh, I like that. Oh, that resonates with me. I want to be more like that. We're not copying anybody, obviously, but I want to be more like that. That's a self-realization. But equally, without judgment, we can do it through contrast. So we can be observing people, and we can be observing someone's behavior and listening to their thoughts, their opinions, the way they live their life, whatever, the way they express themselves, the path they've chosen, whatever it might be. And without judgment, because it's the right path for them, right? We can just look at that, observe it, and acknowledge that's not the path for me. Now, we don't have to say it to them. We don't have to argue with them. We're not trying to change their path. But we can acknowledge within us, that's not the path for me. And therefore, we've realized something about us. And our soul knows that we self-realize when we observe. So this is why people say you shouldn't compare yourself to others. I mean, on some level, you shouldn't compare yourself to others and come out with a judgment that you're better or worse, or they're better or worse. I mean, it's not about judgment, but the comparison, just observing someone and thinking, okay, that's not the path for me. This is the path for me. That's all self-realization. And because the soul knows that we can do that, often people are born into a situation that gives them the opposite of what their soul really wants. And a lot of people have said to me, well, if I want to study healing, how come I was, incarnated into a family that didn't understand this concept, for example? Or if I, want to help people understand the power of love, how come I was born into a family that was so unloving? A lot of people say things like that to me. But you wouldn't understand the power of love if you didn't have that experience of the opposite. We often are sold, our souls have chosen to experience the negative polarity of all these positive energies. Well, they're all energies. I shouldn't say positive if I'm talking about negative and positive polarities, right? All these energies, we've chosen to experience the negative polarity so that we understand the power and importance of consciously creating the positive. That makes sense. If we didn't experience a lack of love, we're never going to learn the importance of loving ourselves. Do you see what I'm getting at? But it does mean that you start seeking love and approval from those outside of you before you realize and wake up to the fact that there is only you. Everyone outside of you is a reflection of a part of you. And if you want to change the way people feel about you, change the way you feel about yourself. And that's all part of the self-realization process, of course, which of course I could go on and on and on about. I'm not going to, because we've got to do the messages for the week. And I hope you can hear me okay, because one, I don't have my microphone with me, and oh, that wanted to come out. And two, we have got pouring rain, which is lovely to have rain in Spain after the summer that we've had. So it's very welcome rain, but it's making a lot of noise. So I hope you can hear me okay. And there's another 2 cards. And I think that's it. I think we're back to 3 being the magic number. Let's dive in and have a look. There is the King of Cups. Wow, yes, powerful. I was just talking about the journey involves learning to master our emotions and our thoughts. And the King of Cups has definitely mastered his emotions. So your homework this week is going to be Lessons in Awakening. And I can't remember what number it is, but I think it might be number 6. But it's called Mastering Your Emotions and Thoughts. So check that one out. It's mastering your emotions is making sure that you understand that anything that you feel is yours. This is a big misconception as well that I'm noticing, that often we think that we can feel emotions around us only if they are within us. But obviously, if we're uncomfortable, we need to move ourselves out of a situation. But if you're triggered by other people's emotions, it's because it's in the cells of our own body. If you watch a sad movie and it makes you cry, it's actually very therapeutic because that sadness was in the cells of your body and you kind of volunteered by watching the film to actually trigger that emotion up. Then you can process it out of your body. So it is actually very cathartic to do stuff like that. But please remember, it's your emotion coming up from the cells of your body. It's no one else's. If you can feel it, it's yours, because we're all creating this this reality. Your reality, everyone's reality is separate. It's almost like we're all playing a different game. We're all playing our own game. We've got a virtual reality headset on, and we are the only ones playing our game. No one else is playing our game. Everyone else is playing their own game. But we're all coming in to reflect back to people the frequency that they are. So you might have somebody angry coming into your game because they are holding a mirror up to some anger in the cells of your body. And you might have the more you love yourself, the more you're going to find loving people coming in, and holding a magnifying mirror up to the amount of love that you have for yourself. This is really important. I mean, Cups is also love. So he is the king of love. And understanding the power and importance of accepting and loving yourself is life-changing. In fact, I've had some beautiful feedback recently from people that have said that, understanding the power of loving themselves, and they've messaged me back saying that they now have learned how to love themselves. It's understanding a lot of stuff that we can't go into, I guess, in one weekly messages. There is a lesson in awakening called The Importance of Loving Yourself. I think that one must be relevant as well. Cups is it's the water sign. It's the emotions, emotionally fulfilling, how you feel about yourself. Lots of things can help you with that. Understanding you're human as being a child and treating your human, because you're not your human, you are your higher self, Okay. And so talking to your human in your self-talk, but referring to your human as a child, and not judging them, and not kicking themselves if they do something that's not as conscious as it could be, and not beating themselves up if they think they're wrong, and all of this stuff, and struggling to forgive themselves and all of this. If it was a child, you would encourage them to let go of it all. You would just move on and just show them a better way. And so I think it's really important that we talk to our humans in the same way, because our humans are just evolving. And at the end of the day, it's all about judgment, isn't it? And it's about judging ourselves. So when you understand that there is only you creating your game of life, it's okay. You can just let go of it. You don't have to wallow in the shame and guilt and whatever it is that you're feeling towards yourself. Self-love is just understanding that you're evolving and learning and growing. So don't look back and think, oh, I did this wrong, or I should have done it a better way. It's okay. There is no time. Remember, linear time doesn't really exist. So it's just a case of looking back, going, oh, okay, that wasn't my preferred outcome. I'm going to do it this way next time. I'm going to be more conscious and do it this way. So we've got more conscious behavior and perhaps less conscious behavior, but it doesn't make it right or wrong. It just makes it evolution. And that's what he's saying. Okay, so that's an important one, isn't it, to start off with? Temperance card, absolutely beautiful. Beginning of a new dawn. There are so many, new things coming in for us, like heaven on earth, of course. We're spiritually guided. It's a major arcana card. The flowing water shows emotional fulfillment. It's a major arcana. It's not a cups, but it does have these two cups in it. So it does give me this idea of emotional fulfillment, going from one cup to the other, that flow, and just finding what feels better. So rather than thinking there's something wrong or bad about you because you did something that you are perceiving as wrong or bad, this is about loving yourself and understanding it's just evolution. And the seeds have been planted. There's a patience about this card. The seeds have been planted, so you're definitely going in the right direction with the self-love. There's a lot of self-love, I think, coming up, and understanding the importance of it, because there's no. When you understand that there is only you playing your game, I think that's a massive lesson. There is only you creating your reality. Nobody else is. Everybody else in your reality is a reflection of a part of you, which is why when you can let go, okay, and you can let go of the resistance you have to people and situations in your life, you will see those people and situations change. It's like Wayne Dyer said, if you don't like what you're seeing, change the way you look at it. And it's really about, I want to say, if you don't like what you're looking at, change something within you. Let go of whatever it is, the resistance that you have. Because it's a really important point. When you understand that the people are then going to come in and reflect that your new frequency back to you. I mean, or they're just going to not resonate, because if they are at a low frequency, a lower frequency, you've raised your frequency. So if they're at a lower frequency, they're just going to go leave your reality, which is why we've all got people like that in our lives. They're just not in our reality anymore, which is fine. I mean, we can just drift from people. We're not resonating with them. We're not resonating with them. There's nothing wrong. It's okay that they have gone. Perhaps they were in your life to reflect the way you were then. And now you've grown and you've changed and you've evolved. So they're not going to be resonating with you. They may go off and they're playing their own game and their energy can change through their own experiences and thoughts and beliefs that they have. And they might come back into resonance with you. But it will always be with a mirror. They're holding a mirror up, whether it be a mirror showing you some emotions that you're not happy to be processing, although we need to be processing them, right? Or whether it's a mirror to show you love, more love. Because more people are going to express love to you, the more you love yourself. And if you've got people that are unloving around you, they are just reflecting back to you your own lack of self-love. So stop blaming them. I know that's a harsh lesson, isn't it? That one actually came up in the path to forgiveness, which is a big theme. It's a big theme. I talked about that in the September messages and in the August messages because of the Venus in retrograde, which is going direct tomorrow. So we should all be coming out of that reflection, that reflecting on past relationships. And forgiveness was very much connected to all of that. But this is more about forgiving yourself, I think, the message this week. It's about just letting yourself off the hook. It's just like, just understand that it was all just experience and evolution, nothing more, nothing less. And it's all got you to where you are now. And when you look back and view some things in your life as being unpreferred, shall we say, or unconscious, less conscious, then you've learned something. Like we were saying in the beginning, it's that looking back, you don't need to judge it, but you can just look back and go, I'm not resonating with that anymore. That's not the way I want to do things anymore. That's not the way I deal with things anymore. That showed me that that wasn't the best way for me to deal with it. So no judgment, no beating yourself up, no guilt, no shame, no nothing like that. Just choosing a better way to experience in the next step, in going forward. Just take the lessons and go forward. Because if you don't beat yourself up and judge yourself, nobody outside of you is going to judge you. This is another really important thing that people don't understand. Your outside is a reflection of the inside. When you stop judging yourself, people outside of you will not be able to judge you because they will not be resonating, you know? So they will be realizing stuff as well. And it's important, especially with parents, because I thought, obviously, when my mother came to visit in March, there I am living in a mobile home, working from a tent in the garden, reading tarot. If you had told me I was going to be doing that, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you, right? And it wasn't the way I was brought up. And so there was a part of me that thought, oh, my mum's not going to approve. She's not going to like the lifestyle I've chosen. She's not going to like the things I do, But when I understand that, well, it doesn't matter because obviously she's lovely and she loves me anyway and all of that, right? No problems. But it's just that underlying way that we've all been programmed. And I thought, well, she came to visit and she might, she might just think, oh, this isn't the way I brought her up, which is exactly what she did think. But she didn't think it in a derogatory way. She didn't think it in a judgmental way at all. She literally said it to me almost with a little bit of remorse in her tone, as if she was realizing something, that happiness, abundance, joy, health, harmony, peace, and all of those gorgeous things are not connected to living in big houses and having loads of money and being academic and doing whatever you went to university to do. It's not connected. And maybe she was having that realization. And also, of course, that made her happy because parents at the end of the day, they just want their kids to be happy, right? Happy and healthy. But also it was because I had learned to approve of myself. I had learned to approve of myself. I love and approve of myself completely. There's a beautiful affirmation for you. I normally say I love and accept myself, but acceptance and approval, whichever words resonate with you. But if you feel like you haven't had the approval of anyone around you, friends, family, whatever, I love and approve of myself completely. So because I had learned to approve of myself, my mum was reflecting that back. And she was like, wow. And she said to me, I've never seen you so happy and healthy. The outside changes when you change the inside. If I was still judging myself, then I am sure she would have said, are you sure you want to live like this? See what I'm getting at? I don't know. That was just an example that came out. But, there are lots of examples like that. And I think the message now is to approve of yourself because you're probably doing things now that you were not brought up to do. Well, definitely, we're going through a great awakening. Most of you are going to be starseeds, you're going to be healers, way showers. You're showing people the way. Um, you're helping raise the consciousness level of humanity, for which I love and thank you for. So, of course, you're not doing things the way you were brought up to do them, right? So, especially if you're at my age. So, this is a really important point, that we need to approve, accept ourselves, and love ourselves as we are. It's very much about self-love today. The last card, there's your worry. There's your dark night of the soul. This was interesting, actually. Sorry, the rain is making so much noise. I hope you can hear me. Normally, when I end on a card like this, I would pick a clarifier, but I'm not going to, because this came up this week with a client, and it was massive. Because something I've noticed with myself, this happened to me as well, and it's happened to a number of clients, is that this is almost like agony sometimes, releasing the deep rooted emotions that we've hung on to. And not only have we hung on to them, these are ones from childhood. Not only have we hung on to them, but we've created an identity around them. And I think this is a really important point. I remember I was on my second yoga teacher training, and I had this, I was doing a lot of releasing, right? It was a really healing process, of course. So I was doing a lot of releasing. And I remember releasing heartache from when my dad left home, right? I was 6 years old when he left. And I didn't realize that I had an issue with it. I spent most of my life just thinking, yeah, no, he left. That was fine. I still had a relationship with him. It wasn't a problem. I thought that for the longest time, because the emotions were so deep rooted that I couldn't feel them, right? So this is all part of that onion and peeling off the layers of the onion, or the spiral, as I've talked about. It's like coming back and looking at it from another level. But I did have heartache, and it left. I was in a dream state. And when the heartache left, in this vision I had, the heartache left and it was about to walk out of the room. And I literally said to the heartache, don't go, don't leave me. In my dream state, I had that vision, that experience. And I was like, why? Why did I not want the heartache to go? I had identified with it so much. It was so deep rooted. It was so deep rooted in my ego, in my pain body, in who I had identified with. It was such a big part of me. And I saw this happen. I've seen this happen with a few clients, but one in particular this week, that when we dive deep into the emotions that they felt about their father, they could actually releasing the resentment, releasing hatred sometimes, or releasing the heartache, whatever it might be. Sometimes releasing it can be really quite difficult because we've hung on to it. And when it goes, a large part of us goes as well. That's what this card is telling me. A large part of us goes as well. And I'm not surprised that this is coming up after we've been talking about the importance of self-love. The importance of self-love, loving, accepting, and approving of yourself is the most important thing. Because when this heartache, resentment, hatred, whatever it is for anyone, or whatever it is in your childhood or your earlier life, or whatever, I mean, it could be past life, inherited, what have you, but I think we're talking about stuff that's happened in your life. I think this is about resentments that you've been hanging on for years and years and years, that it's so deep rooted that you're not, well, now you're becoming aware of it because of the Great Awakening. But I think it's coming up because it's so important to fill that gap. I want to say, fill that gap, let it go, and fill it with the part of you that knows that you are love and light and healing. The part of you that knows your divinity, the part of you that wants to unlock that greater connection to divinity and allow it to flow through you, through your consciousness, through your thoughts, through your words, and through your deeds, most importantly, through your heart, through your passions, into physical form. Open up to the love that you are. You are not your human. Your human is doing a grand job. And sometimes releasing these emotions can be harsh. And they're so attached to an identity that just needs to go now. It's an identity that you've been hanging on to that just needs to go. That bitterness, that resentment, whatever it might be. There's no right and wrong. There's just evolution. So you look back at your life so that we can see everyone and everything with unconditional love. See what I'm saying? And so when the heartache went for me, I could look back and just see my dad going was a blessing for everyone because he went on to carry on with his path. My mum carried on with her path. You know, often when these things happen, everyone benefits. Everyone benefits because that's evolution. So this is about letting go of that, however much you want to hang on to it. And it will involve crying. Look, I mean, he's crying and it's all overwhelming. But, you know, this is where, I mean, you can do this on your own, of course. It often happens when you're on the yoga mat or wherever you are, you know, anything like that. However you tap into your higher self, hold space for your human. I've said it so many times. You are your higher self. Hold space for your human, okay, who is doing a grand job, but your human needs to process this shit. Sorry, but your human needs to process it. Hold space for your human, okay, so that you can just cry it out. You can just experience the overwhelm. Let the heartache walk out the door. Just let it walk out. You're going to probably cry about it, and then you're just going to feel heaps better. You're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel lighter, definitely. And just understand that you are the love. You are the love. You are the power of love. The power and love of God flows through you. If you don't like that word, the power and love of Source flows through you. And it's raising your frequency, raising your level of consciousness. And you can look at all the people in your life with more love because you are unconditional love. And when you perceive them as being unconditional love, you're there, aren't you? You're at that state of being that we call love. Wow. Wow, I'm really, really feeling that. I feel really emotional. Feel really, really emotional. But I think this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're releasing this stuff. It's deep rooted. We've identified around it. Our ego is so attached to it. But we need to let it go. We need to let it walk out of the door. And we need to understand that on the other side of those tears, on the other side of that overwhelm, on the other side of that is the lightness, is the lightness of being, I want to say. It's the love and the light, the forgiveness, the joy, the abundance, the lightness of being. You know, it's massive. It's massive. That's how we open our hearts. That's how we do it, huh? You come on that journey with me? Oh, I think I've definitely released something. Oh, wow. There you go. Okay, I hope that all made sense. I love you all. Please take that love and fill every cell of your body with it, and just express your divinity through your human experience. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing this inner work. I honor you. I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I will see you in the next video. Check out the video for the messages for September. I offer a freebie in that video, so check it out for your chance of winning that, because I would love to work with you. Bye for now.